Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakudash. And I want to say Shalom, Yaakanakwat out there, doing this true diligently. Coming at you once again, another lesson. This one's probably going to be titled something along the lines of Esau, or E, cannot fathom the indestructibility of the Lord's chariots. All right? Esau cannot fathom the indestructibility of the Lord's chariots, or something along those lines. Now, you can clearly see that there's not a video up on the screen. There's a Reddit page, right? But there's not a video. Now, a little interesting. I want to show it. So, don't worry, I have backups. So, I saw the video that we will be making, Lord willing, a lesson on today, a couple hours ago, or yeah, maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. And like I mentioned it before, I use an app called Narwhal. Okay, it is a third-party Reddit browser. All right, and you pay to have access to it because they have to pay to use Reddit's API. All right, that gives them to be able to pull the lists of content, right? All these posts. And I use that on my phone, and it has lots of benefits, like $3 a month. If you guys are like doing a lot of news on Reddit, I recommend just getting it because man, it's through Yahweh Meow Shy. It saved my ass a couple times with lessons, because what it'll do, I don't know if it has a cache or however it does it, but with Reddit, when posts are removed, that's it, right? I've been able to recover quite a few deleted posts just with this app, okay? Thankfully, call all Yahweh Meow Shy. Now, I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know if it just mysteriously disappeared. I can't find it nowhere. Now, I can show you, all right? I probably look like hell, so excuse me. All right, probably dirty in the back anyway, but you can see the post right here, all right? And you can see that it says, well, let me hold it like this, and you can see it says, new UFO video released by Representative Eric Burleson shows a UFO being hit by a missile. The UFO continues flying. Now, the big part right here is down. Let me, we'll fix this. Bear with me. Take your video. 1 minute. Zoom. Nope, not zoom, but focus. Oh, don't need to. All right, you see it set. All right, you see it? So you can see the whole post. All right, you can see the title of it. All right, and then you can see it was done 6 hours ago. All right, it had 981 comments and 3.3 thousand upvotes, or likes, as you want to say. All right, so let me get out of this. All right. So, if I go, and you could see the name. It was the Reddit. It was called "Damn, That's Interesting," right in the bottom left corner. So here I am on Damn, That's Interesting. There's no post 6 hours ago. You can go and look. You can go sort it by newest, right? 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's it at? It's completely gone, right? But you can clearly see, as I just showed you on my phone as it's saved, that was a screenshot, that it was posted 6 hours ago. Where is it? Right? Where is it? Nowhere to be seen. It's gone. Okay? Gone. That's why you always should save things when you get them, because they will just disappear. But I have a series, since I can still access it on my phone. I have a series of screenshots, videos, the whole video, and yeah. So here's the post. Right? I could have just shown you this, but I showed you me holding it. Got the actual thing. It was there. And you can see it's on Damn, That's Interesting. How long ago? 6 hours ago. Nowhere. Nowhere to be seen. Okay? Nowhere to be seen at all. A matter of fact, if I look up UFO, newest. The newest video on Damn That's Interesting that says anything about a UFO was 8 months ago. Where did the video go? Where's it at? All right. So here's one real quick. I got it yesterday. We'll open with Luke 12:2. It says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." So there you go. We can get into verse 3. It says, "Therefore whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops." So one reason or another, they didn't like that video being there. They didn't like it. All right. But I have it. Okay. And the title was "New UFO Video Released by Representative Eric Burleson Shows a UFO Being Hit by a Missile. The UFO Continues Flying." All right, it's not UFO. That's unidentified flying objects. They are IFOs, identified. All right, they are the Lord's chariots, as we're going to get into. So, and this is, one of those lessons that's really for, the brothers and sisters that have been in it for a minute. It's not the most new person that just woke up friendly, because there's a lot that goes into it. You have to know about chariots. We're going to get some of it. All right, but there's a lot of explaining that goes into it without just going, oh, all right, instantly, they're the Lord's vessels. All right, you should be able to put two and two together. But, those that have been in the know for a while, you'll know that these UFOs, these spaceships, all right, or however you want to call them, are the Lord's vessels. All right, the Lord's chariot. Okay, that's what their real name is, or chariot. Okay, and the reason why the lesson is titled "Esau Can't Fathom the Indestructibility of the Lord's Chariots," or however I said it was going to be called, is because I got a couple comments here where they're just saying, no, this simply cannot be, right? I have a couple different versions of the video. I got this one right here where it's just a screen cap, all right? And you can see it down there. It's the same video, but I actually went ahead and Reddit was able, through Narwhal, I was able to download this video. So I'm going to play it this way, okay? So, matter of fact, I'm going to download this video. Because it's the type of video that will just disappear, right? So, you can see the video quality ain't that good on here. I'll play it on here. Well, why is it so low quality? Is it just something that YouTube does? Or Google does? Let me see if this is higher quality. Slightly. Alright, I'll full screen it this way. This is the chariot flying. And soon you'll see out of the corner a missile will come. Wasn't it yet? You'll see it. There it is. So let me slow it down. Is there a way I can slow the video down with speed? Okay, let's go with 0.25. Let's go back. So it's going to come from right over here. This is the chariot. And the video is more higher resolution when it's like viewed smaller. Alright, that's how resolution usually goes. So if you can see it like this, you'll probably be able to see it a little bit better. But I'll keep it full screened. But you can see it. I slowed it down. Here's this missile coming. Bounces off and keeps on going. Fragments and stuff of it and whatnot. Alright. Let me speed it up again. Now here's it without it being zoomed in, right? This is the video before they zoomed it in. So here's the chariot. You see it flying, right? Right here. All right. So it kept on going. Okay. Now I'll play it again like this so you can see it in slightly higher quality just because it is a lower resolution video. You can see they're cruising along, right? Pretty fast. And they're tracking it. Boom, there it goes, right? Still cruising along. So, there you go. It's bounced off and just disintegrated, right? Bounced off and disintegrated. Now, Esau, being the person that he is too proud, all right, to really let this information go out. He's too proud. And he doesn't like the information going out. And also on top of that, with all the people in the comments, they can't. That's not how it works. That's just not. Can't be, right? So we'll get that in a minute. We'll get that scripture in a minute. But I wanted to get some of these comments. It says, wouldn't a missile explode on contact or just before contact? Whatever hit it is also moving too slow to be a round of artillery. That's what I was thinking. No explosion, and it moves away too slow to be a missile. It looks like a guided blunt object. It says, almost all modern anti-aircraft missiles do not hit the target but explode near it. Hitting the target would with a huge number of small shrapnel. It says, all modern AA missiles or anti-aircraft missiles travel at supersonic speeds. Estimating speed is difficult without other frames of reference, but there's no way this was moving at missile speeds. See, there's no way it could. There's no way. Because I said so. This is reported to be a Hellfire, which was originally an anti-armor missile, but has evolved into many variants and can be used AA. Now, someone that's, played video games and been interested in military stuff, a Hellfire missile ain't nothing to joke with, all right? So, let's go and see. Oh, there it is, 1 hour ago. So you can see it here, all right? So, but Reddit removed it. So, why, though? It's interesting. Reddit, who's going to, the Hill, but, the New York Post and the Hill are probably the most known of all these, but who's going to the Warzone or news station, right? Who's going over there? Let's see. I want to show you what a Hellfire missile looks like when it's going off. I'm going to show us something blowing up. There you go. Alright, watch that in the distance. Right over here. You see it. That ain't nothing to joke. There you go, zoomed in now. Those are little buildings down there. You can see those things ain't nothing to fuck with, man. That's a Hellfire missile. Okay. That's a Hellfire missile. Oh, here we go. Here's some footage. Fired at 2 people in Afghanistan. I won't show it because I don't know how YouTube's gonna feel about that. But I've seen plenty of clips like this. Right. Right, and you can see the same type of crosshair and all the same stuff that you've seen on the video. So if you go back, you know, you see it, the HUD. All right, the heads-up display. All right, you don't see all of it because some of it's cut off and whatnot, but you see the targeting system and all that, right? So what they say, oh, it couldn't have been, no explosion. Well, do you not know that the Lord's power is limitless? All right, limitless. Okay. Right here. It says, Revelation 19:6, and I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Hallelujah, for the Lord Yahweh omnipotent reigneth. All right, what is reign? It means to rule. Okay, to rule, reign. All right, a period of rule. All right, so rule. So omnipotent. What does omnipotent mean? Okay.
Omnipotent.
Having unlimited power and able to do anything. And able, all right, able to do anything, all right? All powerful, almighty, supreme, all right? Unconquerable. Invincible, unconquerable. Okay? So, but going on to Obadiah 1 and 3, who is this talking about? We got to get from verse 1 to show you who this is talking about. Obadiah 1 and 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, concerning Edom. Who is Edom? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Not every so-called white-looking person's an Edomite. All right, but that's who those people go back to. All right, the original white people, right? So when they weren't white, by the way, that's just a term that's put on now. The original red people, okay, that call themselves white now. What the people you see white, those people, the original people that they went back to were Edomites, all right? Now, of course, you know, Jake's gotten down with Esau. Esau's gotten down with Jake. Everybody looks a little bit different now. So some of those white-looking people aren't Edomites, all right, even though that red skin stemmed from that line, yes. But, you know, now you could have a Jake father that got with, you know, an Edomite woman, and that son grew up and got with an Edomite woman, and now that kid looks like, you know, a vanilla ice cream cone, and you would never even be able to tell the difference, right? I myself am such one case, right? Where I look like I would be an Edomite, but I'm not an Edomite. Remember, this goes back to the seed line of the father. But most of the white people, all right, the original white people are Edomite, all right? But you have stragglers, so you can't just write off every white person as an Edomite, okay? So it says, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. And if you don't think Esau is the so-called white man, then you're just wrong, all right? We've done breakdowns on it plenty of times and shown architecture, you know, the way that their actions are the same. Even ChatGPT will tell you who fits it the best, right? It says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And I like this scripture as well. I like all the scriptures, but I like this one as well because it shows you that Esau is small even among the heathen, all right? Among the heathen, they are even small. All right, Moab's better than them. You know, I don't like Elam at all, but Elam's even better than them, which is hard to think. But damn, you're worse than fucking. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But let me grab a drink, real quick. Yeah, you're worse than these people sitting in the street cooking with their feet. Yep, sure are. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. So your pride has deceived you. All right, you say, oh, well, no, that's impossible. It's impossible for you. Matter of fact, right here, Luke 18:27, to show you some things are just impossible with men, right? Luke 18:27, and he said the things which are impossible with men are possible with Yahweh. So yeah, you're right. It's impossible. No, that's not how it works. They go too slow, or they should explode, or they should do this. Yeah, with men, right? A normal vessel wouldn't act like that, but you're dealing with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai here, okay? Going back into Obadiah 1 and 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. And that's a big hint at who these people are, who dwelleth in the clefts of the rock. And then you go and look at places like, and you know, their dwelling places was Mount Seir, all right? Okay, Mount Seir was one of the dwelling places of the Edomites, all right? You can see it says it was settled by Esau and his descendants. Now, if you go here and you look at Petra, all right, and you look at their building, what does this fucking look like? What does this fucking look like? Don't try to lie. Don't try to dilly-dally. What the fuck does this look like? You know damn well what it looks like. It's the same architecture that's been used for years by these people, because they're the same people. Rome, Petra, Rome, Greek, Babylon, aka America, right? It's the same architecture because they're the same fucking people. They've always been the same people, right? Look at history to understand the mystery, all right? You got to know your history and understand the mystery, as the apostles of Great Millstone always say. So, yeah, man. You know, this is unrefutable. If you say, what does this look like? It looks like the White House, all right? Or numerous other amounts of Edomite architecture, right? Look at that. Boom. I like that. Mount Seir descendants. Look at that. Call all Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. I didn't even know this was going to come up. Edomite kingdoms. Look at that. Mount Seir, Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain, United States. Bam. They all look the fucking same. They all look the same. Right? The Edomites. They all look the same. Matter of fact, it's low quality, but I'm going to save it. Wish there was a higher quality version, but this one will do. I can read it all still, right? There you go, man. You know, they're the same people. Same people, okay? That's how you know. Big hint right there. We didn't even have to go into it. That was a mini lesson inside a lesson, right? Right there. Thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock. Who does it? Them, the Edomites. All right, that's how they got the term Caucasian anyway, because of the Caucasus Mountains. Duh. That's why they stray away from the term Caucasian now, okay? But you'll still see it on application. It says, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? That's the pride, right? That's not how a missile works. That's not how a missile works. Not in a normal scenario. No, you're right. You would be correct. That's not how a missile works in a normal scenario. This is not a normal scenario. You're shooting at the Lord's vessels. Okay? So yeah, it's not a normal situation that you're in. And a lot of people, I didn't save it because it was stupid. A lot of people are like, yeah, show us the Epstein files. You're worried about the Epstein files, which yeah, we'd like to see them too. But they've already been out. We already know who's on there. Everyone. Okay? There you can go and look up Epstein file leak and you can see who's on there. Right? They already have a bunch of logs. All right, these people are worried about Epstein files. Yeah, sure, we'd like to see them, but guess what? That information's out there. We're not going to be surprised when it drops and Joe Biden and Trump's on it. Where is it? Yep. Right? No one that's on that list would ever surprise us. Okay? That's it. Okay? No one on that list would ever surprise us. Eminem, nope. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, nope. Oprah, nope. No one's gonna surprise us that they're on that. It doesn't fucking matter. It could be our favorite musician, our least favorite musician, Taylor Swift. All these, they're on it. They're probably fucking on it. That's what these people do, don't you know? Jeez. But you do you, right? Keep on thinking that, you know, your favorite artist or musician or actor isn't on there, or actress, right? Think that they're not on there. They're on there, but you can go ahead and think that they're not. So, yeah, we'd like to see the Epstein list, but at the end of the day, this is a wee bit more important. And when I say we, I mean like by a quadrillion, all right? I can't even number how much important. You want to worry about who's on that list. You should worry about who's in those chariots. You should be worrying who's piloting those things. All right, that's who you need to be worried about. You need to be worried that there's Negroes coming back higher power, spiritually minded angels, and the Lord Himself as Negroes. All right, coming back. All right, to visit this place, and getting ready to prepare, to send Yahushua the Son. All right, who you would call Jesus Christ. All right, but mind you, Jesus Christ, a white guy. Yahushua is a so-called Negro. Okay, as he would be called now. And you got to worry about the so-called Negroes that are coming to Earth. All right, angelic, and not necessarily angels, but the angels and Yahushua himself coming back to destroy this place. That's who you need to worry about. All right, Negroes from outer space. Right, that's who you need to worry about. That sounds like a movie that you would make back in the day. All right, did you say, oh, the aliens are coming from outer space? No, they're not aliens from outer space. All right, they're Negroes, so-called. They're not coming from outer space. They're coming from the spiritual realm. Okay, and what you would consider, I don't know what you would want to consider. The closest thing you could get to it is outer space. All right, there's something out there. Something beyond our realm. You're right. Absolutely. All right, but not the way you're thinking about it. So you got to worry about the so-called Negroes from outer space. All right, which is really just, the Lord and his army. All right, coming from, his realms. Okay. That's who you need to worry about, not some fucking known edophile with a P in front of it. Some edophile that we already know is doing weird shit, being on a list that we know he's already going to be on the list for. Why would you be more interested in the stuff that you don't know? We already know who's going to be on that list. Everyone. What, you're going to have your gotcha moment? See, he's on the list. Everybody knew he was on the list. Right? And the conservatives, what, you think you're going to own them? Right, you Democrats and the Democrats, you think you're gonna own the Democrat? Y'all are both the fucking you're puppets on the same fucking string, all right, for the same puppet master, man. The Democrats, you're gonna say, "See, told you Trump was on the list," and the conservatives, you already know how the conservatives are. They're dumb as shit, all right. They're gonna say, the Democrats wrote that on there, and then you're gonna get mad because these guys are so dumb, they're so stupid. It's right on the list. And they're gonna say, you guys put them on the list. And you guys are gonna go bicker back and forth, and then you're gonna fucking, fuck each other up at the ass at the end of the day because you're both fucking a bunch of faggots at the end of the day. That's what it is. Yeah, I said it. All right, that's what it is. All right, you're on the same fucking string being puppeted. Okay, you don't even realize it. Oh, I'm blue. He's red. Take the shirt off. Guess what? You're both green under there. You're both fucking green. You're on the same team, really. All right, just manufactured outrage. All right, that's the same thing. You're just going up against each other. All right, stupid. Y'all are stupid as hell. Focused on dumb shit instead of shit that actually matters. Oh, the Epstein list. You're never gonna get the Epstein list. Okay, you're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get that Epstein list. And if it ever releases, all right, either everyone's gonna be on it to where it's gonna be basically null and void, or it's gonna end up being nothing, right? No one's really on it. There's just a couple people that you don't know, and that's it, right? So you think they're really gonna give you the actual fucking list? All right, if they did, they would just drown it. All right, they would just put everybody on it, be like, it's everyone, right? You're not gonna get individual people, so you can pick and choose. See, Cher is good, but Eminem, nuh-uh. Now, see, Michael Jackson was fine, but Oprah, no, everyone's gonna be bad. Everyone's gonna be bad, man. Everyone, they've all done it. They've all fucked or sucked, or did a goat, or did something with a little girl, or did something, or a little boy, or killed or sacrificed something. They've all done it. How do you? That's wholly weird for you, man. They have to do the sacrifices and weird sex rituals and weird different sex shit and sex parties and freak offs and Diddy shit. They all do that. You think Diddy's the only one that's done it? Everyone's focused on Diddy. You think Diddy's just one of the guys that got caught. All right, that's it. All right, and they allowed that to happen. All right, for one reason or another. He must not done something they wanted. Okay. You think he's the only one that's done it? Diddy wasn't around when Shirley Temple, his mom, had to suck that executive's rod. All right, that's it. She wrote about it. All right, or whatever she had to do, suck or fuck one of them. All right, and then they overly sexualized that girl. Now she didn't say she herself was sexually assaulted. All right, but she did say her mom was. All right, and that was revealed over time. Okay, so she could get into fame. So where was Diddy then? He wasn't born. That was in the 1930s, 1940s. Where was he? Diddy wasn't even born yet. So you think it's only Diddy? Nah, man. That's been going back for a long, long time. A long, long time. Right? Let me grab a drink and we'll continue on. So it says, didn't realize they shoot missiles to boop objects rather than to explode. So until the real explanation comes along, let's just go with aliens. So, yeah, because what? It didn't explode. You're right. You know, and again, pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Right? You think, oh, what? So it's just going to boop it? Yeah, that should have exploded. You're right. And we saw the videos of Hellfire and missiles. They explode. Not so much with this case. All right? It kind of just deteriorated. Right? And the explanation is that the Lord's omnipotent. Okay? So that's the other thing. You know, here's a scripture. Because in the end, well. Yeah, Revelation 19 and 19. And I saw the beast. Hold up. Go and get it. The beast. NATO. All right. NATO, the 7 heads, is 7 government and kingdoms ruled by Esau. All right. So that's NATO. All right, all these people. All right, Greece, Italy, Spain, France, West Germany, United Kingdom, Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Canada, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Turkey, United States, Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, and now Sweden. All right, these nations make up NATO, which is the beast. Okay, beast, Esau. Okay, and I saw the beast, Esau, right? All his nations, all his little armies, right? And the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army, okay? Which, of course, is speaking of Yahushua and his chariots, okay? So, let's see how this battle goes real quick. Revelation 19 and 20, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet. The false prophet is the Roman Catholic Church, all right? Really, you know, the Vatican and all that, and the Pope. It says that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, going back to the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive in a lake of fire burning with brimstone. So they lose. There's the end of that story for you, for you, Esau. Well, not the end of the story, but the end of that little war that you're gonna, you know, try to raise with Yahushua. All right, and his armies. All right, aka the angels. Okay, it's gonna go. Oh. And then you're just going to be you know, like I've showed that clip before with Superman. You can shoot at Yahushua all if you want. All if you want. You can shoot him with bombs, tanks, missiles, nukes. It ain't going to do nothing, all right? It's like, you know, Superman in those videos where they're shooting at Let's see, Superman being shot at. Yeah, well, I'll just get the photo, right? Look at this. They're, you know, fucking bouncing off, right? Where was it? Here it is. This is what's gonna be like when you try to shoot at Yahushua. Not even phased. Not even phased. He's looking around like, look, that's all you got? This is it? That's how it's gonna be, man. That's how it's gonna be when you try to shoot at Yahushua. Except Yahushua, you know, he's real and he's gonna actually be more powerful. He'll probably send those bullets right flying back at you. You don't even know, man. You have no idea. They'll be ricocheting, flying off, taking you guys out. So you guys are really taking yourself out with your own bullets. You'll be stupid, man. You can't fathom. You cannot fathom the power of the Lord. Okay? And you can't fathom the indestructibility of his vessels. All right? His chariots. Okay? Let's get a couple chariot scriptures. All right, let me get my notes up. Get a couple chariot scriptures. Let's get, bear with me. All right, let's get a couple. Let's finish this up. It says most missiles have a EM proximity detector and detonate just before impact to pepper the target with shrapnel. It says it's apparently a kinetic Hellfire missile, not the one that explodes. Sure. It says, yeah, that makes no sense. Those are designed for air-to-ground missions and extremely unlikely to have been equipped. Those have been used a few times, so few times they made headlines because it was used on high-value terrorists in a car. Also, those are still very fast. So they say, there you go. That makes no sense. None of it makes that much sense, does it? Because you can't fathom it. You cannot fathom it because of that pride. All right. Again, let's go to Habakkuk. Let's get Habakkuk 2:5 this time. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. More little tidbits to show you who this devil is. All right. It's not really a tidbit, but there's a lot of information. But he's a proud man, right? Esau is a proud man, okay? So that's how they're going to act. That's how they're going to be. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, right? It says this was intercepted off the coast of Yemen by two MQ-9 Reaper drones. One of the Reaper is lasing, the other fired the Hellfire missile. The missile is supposed to detonate before impact with shrapnel, but in this case, it does not detonate. Why? A fluke? Must have been a bad missile, huh? The slam of the missile alone would take down most aircraft, and especially a drone. Also, Reapers don't go around shooting at balloons. So this wasn't like, oh, a balloon. They don't go around shooting at things they know what it is. All right, they're not shooting at fucking balloons and other things. No, this was identified as a threat. Why do you think they identified it as a threat? Okay? And they shot at it. And they said the slam of the missile alone, all right, when it hit it, you saw it bounce off, didn't you? All right? They said the slam of the missile alone would take down most aircraft, especially a drone. People trying to say, oh, it's a drone. It's not a drone. They said the slam of it. Let's go back and find that slam. That would have took out most aircraft. Okay? That would have took out most aircraft. And it didn't. It didn't take it out. Why? Why didn't it take it out? Okay? Why didn't it take it out? Because it's the Lord's chariots. Okay? Says there's like 12 things wrong with your statement, but the glaringly obvious one, missiles don't make sudden left turns, then bounce. Not at that speed. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, it wasn't a missile. You're right. It couldn't have been a missile because all of a sudden it took a left turn and just bounced off. Why could that happen? Because it's the Lord. It's the Lord. You don't get it. You don't get it. You can't fathom the Lord's power. Okay? There you go. Says Hellfire is almost entirely used for air-to-ground, especially those launched off drones. Its flight profile makes it very difficult to track fast-moving targets like that, even if you could laze them consistently the entire time, even if the launcher and buddy laze source are lined up, blah, 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 blah. It just doesn't make sense because it's not supposed to make sense because it's the Lord's chariots. They're the Lord's. He's omnipotent. Omnipotent means what? Unlimited power, able to do anything, unconquerable, invincible. So yeah, he could curve that bullet like Matrix. Didn't they curve one time? Let's go to it. Where was it? Probably how the chariots are moving. You can't even see it. All right. except they won't even get nicked like that. That's probably how those chariots, are moving. You can't even see them because, it's so fast, right? But that's probably, who knows how they're moving? I don't know. I'm just stipulating, you never know what they could do. So all these things are not hitting them, bouncing off, moving around, and that's impossible. What the hell's going on here? It's impossible with men. Not impossible with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, you cannot fathom it. Okay, you cannot fathom it. And a script really right here. This is Matthew 13:11. It says, and this is really dealing with, the scripture, but it works for why you can't understand, these spiritual things. All right, there's another scripture that just came to mind. Matthew 13:11, he answered and said unto them, they were asking, we can go to 10 and show what they were asking. Verse 10, it says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? All right, there's a lot of parabolic speech in the Bible, all right, things that a lot of people wouldn't just understand right off the bat, right? Why? In verse 11, it says, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Another one. You don't even listen to us on simple things. So, in the same way, because, we're trying to walk in the same manner as Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Salakia. But, and he's doing right through his father, so I guess it works. But yeah, we tell you things. Oh, did you that's the elite? No. You're not gonna even believe that. So why are you gonna believe it? Why would you ever even believe us if we told you about the chariots? We know you ain't gonna believe us. John 3:12. If I have told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? So you're not gonna get it. All right. In parable, going back to as the scripture we just got, where were we? Over in Matthew 13:11. All right, you're not going to be able to understand parable. All right, for example, here's a good parable. Psalms 104:3. It says, we'll go from 1. Bless the Lord, O my soul, O Lord, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So the clouds are his chariot. There's a lot of different words. Clouds, chariots. There's another one. I can't think of it, but clouds, chariot, right? I always like to get this one. Isaiah 31:5, it says, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. So as birds flying? Is birds flying? How do birds fly? In the air. So it's going to be an aerial assault. An aerial assault. Okay? And that aerial assault is actually spoken of in Isaiah 66:15. I might close out with that, so I'm going to hold up. But let's get... get this, and then we'll close out, I think. And then we'll after Isaiah 66. This is dealing with Yahushai, right? You can go and see that it was red letter, all right? It was Yahushai speaking. So after he was finished speaking, right? Acts 1:9. It says, and when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. He went up into a cloud. All right. Some would say beamed up. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? the same Yahushua which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven. Okay? And we can go and show you this one. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, who? Yahushua. And every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Well, pierced him. No, those people are already dead. Well, that's when you got to get into reincarnation. Okay? There's a lot of stuff to understand. See, this is what you should be worrying about instead of the fucking Epstein log, or the Epstein files. This is what you should be worrying about. All right? The Epstein files ain't gonna, come and slice you across the throat. All right? The Lord and his angels just might. Okay? So, or burn you up, or many different things. Okay? And remember, the Lord's gonna do all this without even getting dirty. Okay? So, you're gonna be, all this, he's not even getting so much as a piece of dust on him. All right, symbolically, all right, he's going to be coated in blood as if he was stomping in a wine press, but he's not actually going to physically get dirty. All right, that's symbolic because he's going to have a great amount of people are going to die at his hand. Let's see. Yeah, well, so we'll get that, and then I guess we'll just get Isaiah 66 and 15. Let me see if there's one more. Let me see if I can get one. Let's get. Matthew 24 and 30. I love Matthew 24. And verse 30. All right, you should read it. This is dealing with a lot of things that's going to happen in the end days. All right, prophecy, things to look forward to, some to be afraid for. All right, if you're a Jake, all right, and of the 1/3, Lord willing, the hopeful elect. All right, these are things to look forward to. For those that are not, all right, it's things to be wary and afraid for. All right, to know when your time is running out. Right. So Matthew 24 and 30, it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, dealing with Yahushua. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So there you go. And then finally, last but not least, Isaiah 66 and 15 through 16. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots, like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Doesn't sound like he's going to come so happily. Sounds like he's going to be pretty mad. All right. Right here it says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Boom. So, yeah. The Lord's power, he's omnipotent. These are his chariots, okay? He could have done a million types of things. He could have sent that right back at him, all right? Could have sent it right back at him. He could have, there's a million different things he could have done, all right? He had it bounce off and just, look, it made, because it made Esau's technology and weaponry look like some pussy shit, all right? Looked like it wasn't even nothing. It completely unfazed, all right, by that tiny little missile that, yeah, could destroy buildings and men, but can't do nothing against a chariot. All right, and that's a chariot. All right, you'd think, oh, that looked relatively small, and yeah, whatever you want to say, man. At the end of the day, guess what? That little missile was no match. No match. Okay, it must have been a dud. Sure, just coincidentally, that one missile was a dud. Sure, cool. I'll let you have that, Esau. We'll let you have that in your mind. Sure, it was a dud. All right, let's see if they're duds. All right, let's see if, the Lord directing these missiles at the end of the day, let's see if they're duds. Let's see if they'll accidentally mess up. All right, maybe, some of the missiles that you're going to launch that the Lord's really going to be in control of, let's see if some of them just don't work. Let's find out, okay? And if they don't work, guess who they're not going to work on? The elect, okay? If they hit somewhere and they don't explode, that must mean there was a member of the elect right there, right? So, when they're hitting you and your tanks, they're going to be exploding, okay? When you see them bouncing by certain so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and they're not exploding, just know there's a reason for that. All right? There's a reason for that. So, and there's gonna be speckled birds too. Some white looking people, some Asian looking people that are actually Israelite. So, hey man, the Lord's gonna come and gonna destroy this place, and you'll find out how truly indestructive He and His chariots are. So keep that same pride, keep that same energy. We know that you can't fathom it, but that's just the way the Lord is, man. There's nothing you can do about it. That's where we're gonna close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.